Great success. This is the first and only pole I plan on making out of my scoop mold, and it basically turned out fantastic. Couple rookie mistakes. This is my first ever, I would say, medium-sized rigid mold piece I've done, aside from the gas caps that I did. This is the biggest. I think my only complaints are, nope, I got nothing. It's perfect. No, it's really great. This came out really smoothly. Came out of the mold pretty quickly. Only took about 10 minutes of wedging and prying. Not terribly difficult. And I'm overall really satisfied with this. The next step in this process is going to be to clean all this flashing off, clean all those edges up. The only work I've done to it so far is I took a wet paper towel and went over it once just to melt off all the PVA because it looks ugly. But this is basically it, straight out of the mold. Now, there's a lot more surface here than I actually need, so there's a lot of room to trim back, especially along the top. So that'll be the next step. I'm gonna go in with a little tool and clean up the edges, then I'll start taking a look at how to make it best fit onto the body. And for the curious, here's what the inside looks like. This was one coat of gel coat, and then I did one layer of the super thin veil chop strand mat, and then I did 3 layers of 3/4 ounce chop strand mat. Will that be enough? Don't know. It feels pretty, it's all right. Like, it's holding its shape just fine. I expect once I glass it in, I will do some more reinforcing. But the basic idea here was just to get it to hold its shape so that I could get it in and then reinforce. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. This is another super fun tool I have in my arsenal. I'm gonna use this to trim off, I'm gonna use this to attempt to trim off the flashing. It is a reciprocating blade, meaning it sort of goes back and forth real fast. It doesn't spin, and if you've watched my other videos, you know how much I fear and respect those things that spin. So let's give that a try and see how it works out. All right, this is after about 10 minutes of work. I used that little reciprocating blade thingy to clean it up. Then I went in with my orbital sander just to round out the edges so I wouldn't cut my hands or anything. And basically, I stand by my earlier claim that this turned out great. It's a little dusty right now. And it still has some fine tuning to be done to it, a little cleanup. The mold was not pristine, so there's like some little goobers here and there. There's a couple tiny little layup flaws. Like there's a little bubble right there that needs to be patched. There's a little goober over in here, a little texture there, and this all needs to be taken out. That's just some putty that was in the mold. But yeah, really good layup. Cleanup's going nicely. I am absolutely thrilled with how this turned out. All right, I think this is about where it needs to be for now. I did a pass with some sandpaper just to clean up the more egregious troubles, as I'm fond of saying. Like up in there is all nice and smooth now. Still needs a pass, of course, with putty. And I mean, this is nowhere near final, but I've gotten all the major problems out, and I'm ready to start test fitting this on the body. Right now, this is just held in place with gravity, and it may very well slide off during this filming, but the point is, the overall fit is pretty good. Right now, it's sitting on top of the shell, so what I'm gonna do is tape it into place, and then I'm gonna go in underneath and mark off where I need to cut, and then I will start grinding. My assumption here is that this corner is the farthest protruding part, but you know what I should probably do? I should probably put the canopy in place and line it up. In fact, that's what I'll do. Curiouser and curiouser. I have blocked the canopy into place and made some interesting discoveries. I guess maybe this could be filed under, these are things that a buyer of this shell might want to know before buying, and that's me being polite. There's not a real good fit between the canopy and the body. Which is odd. Like, I don't know where that material would have gone. Like, I guess they might have cut the flange on the body too deep. But then if you look over here, like, it looks like there was sort of a flange here that got chopped, and so that would have been the natural edge. So for this canopy to fit, I'm gonna have to build in an inch of material here, which is gonna throw off the geometry of this section here. Now I don't mind that there's a gap here, that's fine, because you can see right here, that's super thin here, and it gets sort of thicker as it goes up, so that tells me like this could just be a cleanup error. So I don't mind adding some width there, but kind of the whole thing just doesn't fit right. And I think that speaks to, there's my scoop on the back, so there's a giant gap there. So even if the scoop can't come forward anymore because it's touching there. So I'm either gonna have to fill all that in, or yeah, fill it all in, that's my option. So big gaps. So that's not super cool. I think it's manageable, like I'm gonna have to. But that is not, I was hoping for a canopy that actually fit a little better than that. And just to show you the other side, so you can see that it's not like pushed all the way over on that side. So we've got the same sort of gap here. And you can see the thickness here is different too. Like that is definitely thicker here. Like that strikes me as what should be the right length, and it a little tighter there. But you know, still got a big gap back here. So I think this all ties into the fact that the scoop piece was missing. I think if, my guess is the piece of the mold that's missing not only includes the scoop, but also includes the flange that goes down here and probably fills in this gap a little bit. That is speculation. I don't know if that's true. Like, see how I've made mine fill that gap a little bit? That'd be my guess. But I mean, it's neither here nor there because that piece doesn't exist. So beware when you're buying this kit, there is a lot of work to do. And I don't think it's the canopy lid that's gonna give, because it's got this flange in the back here. It's got a flange all the way down here. And like this lip looks right. I think the canopy is right. It's the body that's off. And this sort of fuels my hypothesis that this is from two different cars. So it wouldn't surprise me if the canopy, like the canopy matches the hood car, but the body is from a different car or something like that. I don't really know. I suppose I'll never know, since the seller has not been very forthcoming or easy to communicate with. But it is what it is. Gonna have to figure out how to make it work. I think what I'm gonna do for now is just leave the scoop as it is. I don't think I'm gonna trim it or clean it up or attach it. I will leave that to the guys who are working on my body, so I can not only let them worry about it, but they can figure out what's best, how to make it all fit. But that is definitely a little disappointing, how it doesn't really fit together. But that's how it goes. So I think what I'm gonna try to do today is finish up tightening up this curve right here so that the hood fits properly onto the body. And if you remember from previous videos, the goal is to get that to line up. I mean, just the way I'm holding the camera, it is, but it's still got about a 1/4 inch to go before that lines up. And that'll really that'll get me a lot of the way there, but not all of the way there.